evening. My name is Amari Howard, and this is my business plan concept for Ironvein Kennels. So basically, Ironvein Kennels is a company that's going to focus mainly on livestock. And in livestock, we're going to focus mainly on the French Bulldog. We want to attract the higher target market, basically a high-end form of clientele. It's very attractive. This dog is very attractive because of its current social status and even previous social status of being related to royalty and other higher end personnel. We want to focus basically on using social media to bring more attention to the product as well. And product, I mean the French Bulldog. Also, we're going to focus mainly on reproduction and showing, no veterinary work. We just want to focus basically on reproduction. Okay, so to describe the product, right? The French Bulldog is basically of the Bulldog breed. It ranges from 10 to 12 inches in height, and we want to keep the dog no longer than the height of the dog. So if we have a 10-inch dog, we want it to be 10 inches in height, maybe a little bit more, just to keep a nice compact frame. Also, the dogs vary from 16 to 28 pounds depending on the gender, whether it be male or female, and also, the lines, if it's American, European, those sort of things. We want to bring in a variation of color. There are also what we call rare colors, is what we want to focus more on. There's 3 rare genetics. Chocolate, which is from the B locus, brown, gray or mouse, which is from the dilute locus D, and tan points, which comes from the A locus. All our dogs, again, will be from the purest lines, from AKC or FCI. We want our dogs to be full registration, no limited registration in our breeding stock. Okay, so this is a continuation, right? So we want the dog to also be muscular in build. We don't want a slender or lean French Bulldog. We prefer the dog to be what they call cobby. Also, these dogs are featured on various commercials for dog food, advertisements for clothing companies, and they're really big inner city dogs. If you walk down Central Park, you may see maybe 10 to 12 French Bulldogs at a time. It's really what we call a fad. These dogs are what we call a fad now in society. Okay, so where we want to target, where we want to basically select our clientele from, we want a large target market. We don't want to make it too broad, but I figure we focus on a group between the age of 21 and 27, 46 onward. The reason why I gap 27 to 46 is because at this point, people are more likely starting their families. It might give them a couple of years before the kids are old enough to be responsible to own a dog. Not many people want to take on the hassle of owning a pet and having a child at the same time. Is very difficult. We don't want to limit it to any location, being that advertisement through social media can be done on a global scale. There's other various forms of technology that brings the clientele closer. Globalization is one of the main things that has brought everything so compacted together through the use of social media. So therefore, there is no specific location for this product. We want to, again, focus on people of high social status, but not limited to people of high social status, but more along the lines of people of high social status. Even maybe get a few celebrities and have them basically market these dogs for us as well. So to basically understand the industry, there's no exact way to figure out how many people breed. There's some things called as registered, some breeders called registered breeders, and there's also backyard breeders. So there's no exact way to track how many people are breeding this dog. And being that is low barriers to entry, anyone can buy 2 dogs and put them together and produce some puppies. Also, fluctuation. There's fluctuation in the market based on new clientele. Again, being that this dog, not new clientele, excuse me, based on new entry. So any breeder, since there's low barriers to entry, if the market gets flooded with breeders, prices get driven down because there's more availability for clientele. It also depends on the status of the market. Dogs, again, are not necessities, so therefore people don't want to take on an added expense if they don't want to. So a little bit more about the industry. What we want to do is develop new, or try to focus on the new rare genetics, which has also changed the market, driven prices back up. We don't want to focus on a watered down line, but again, people do just breed for any purpose. They have two dogs, they might put them together just to have puppies. Most of the things are done via social media or the web. People have strayed away from the newspaper ad and the newspaper clippings, so therefore most everything is done by social media. Okay, so the operation now. Basically, we want an indoor and outdoor facility, right? So the operations would include cleaning the facilities, daily exercise, and as well as socialization of the adults and puppies. We want to get out and focus on promoting the dog as best as we can. Maybe some parades or some shows or some other functions that will bring more attention to our kennel club. The assets, of course, would be the dogs. Each dog is an asset in itself. The facility is one of the great assets. We want to build a big indoor facility with indoor-outdoor runs. Also, basically focus on a pen where the dogs can have room to exercise. Some grooming stations so the dogs can have their regular maintenance and regular baths. And the asset of livestock is that they reproduce. So French bulldogs, I've heard to range from 1 to 12 puppies in a litter. That is also if the bigger the litter, the more profitable it will be for the organization. Again, so this is some of our management. Each one of us has put in our own part of founding Ironvein Kennels. There's myself, Amari Howard, my partner Terrence Bragg, and also my other partner as well as cousin Jamal Joseph. So this is what we're looking for from our investors. We're looking for $30,000 basically to bring in fresh breeding stock and also improve on our facility. We figure we'll take half of the capital and invest it into a new setup, indoor-outdoor runs, pens, and also we take another half and bring in some more rare genetics, some puppies, maybe some adults, so that the cash can start flowing immediately. There are some risk factors. One of the highest risk factors being we're dealing with livestock. So if a dog dies, the asset is gone. There's no insurance or no way to bring in another dog without repurchase. Exit strategy. There's a couple of ways that our investors will be secured. If we figure that the business is going down, again, each dog will be a value from the best breeding stock, so we can sell it for equal or even more worth, depending on the promotion that was going into it. There's actually some projections. So basically what we figure is the first year will be more focused on break even. Again, being that we're getting started, if we acquire an adult male, then what we can do is start bringing in that money consistently. So if we acquire a rare genetic, like a blue male, for example, diluted male, we can bring in at least maybe 2 stud fees a month, which total $3,000. So that would be one of the biggest, that would be one of the biggest ways to return that money. We say 10 studs over the course of a year, $30,000, we break even. First year can also be profitable if we decide to buy adult females, and what we would do is breed these adult females, basically produce maybe 2 litters that year. If we range anywhere from 2 to 8 puppies in that year, then we can, assuming $3,000 a puppy, we can and bringing some puppies in from our adult females could also bring in some more revenue. And we figured expenses will be stable across the months. Vet fees, dog food expense, rent expense, utilities, insurance, and miscellaneous expenses. We figured it'd be about $15.80 a month for the first year until we expand our facility. So we also want to give investors 25% on their investment in 2 years' time. Figure is really achievable based on the numbers that were calculated as well. I want to thank you for listening to my presentation. Again, my name is Omari Howard from Ironvein Kennels.